Hey, what's up? This is the DJ Cool Clyde show. You know, my show deals with hip-hop, politics, health awareness, and various other issues. But let me tell you something. Today is an exclusive show. This is the first time I'm ever going to debut graffiti on this show, which is a part of the hip-hop element. Actually, graffiti came before hip-hop. And we got a distinguished guest that's on the set right now. Listen, let everybody know who you are, what you've been doing, and where we going with this graffiti.
This is Big Purr, FX Crew, Bronx, New York City. Been at it for about 31 years. Here with a couple of the pioneers of graffiti from the 6 Line, Sade, Prime, LK, Little Corrado, Hollow Rock, Rock Stars. These are all fellas that were doing their thing before I started coming up in the game. Back in 78, 79, these were some of the guys I looked up to.
That's real big coming from you. So let's talk about the history of graffiti. Would you say graffiti came before actually hip-hop or the name hip-hop, or was graffiti first, and where did you first see graffiti?
Basically, I saw graffiti right in my neighborhood, on the subways here on the 6 Line, and I took an interest to the art form at the age of 12 years old. This was back in 1978, and that's when I started noticing hand style, bombing, what it was to be the king of the line and having your name on every car of the king of the line, and originality and things of that nature. And part of the apparel that you see now that they're using, we were doing that back in 78, 79, 80. Hollow Rock was one of the individuals that used to have the flyest lead jeans done with some fly graffiti apparel done long before it got industrialized. So, you know, this was something that definitely was part of our culture here in the Bronx.
You know what's interesting when I look at what hip-hop has done? When the top to bottoms used to be on a train. If y'all don't know what top to bottoms is, come and take up the whole train. And the idea of that was to actually get a picture of that before, like, the next day or the weekend is over with, before they clean the windows, and that way you couldn't see the whole piece. People like MTA, the express buses, now use murals on their buses in Manhattan. That's where they got the whole concept from. When you look at these wrapping of the Hot 97 vans, Power 105 vans, that all came from graffiti. Let's talk about that.
Well, basically graffiti wasn't so accepted then like it is now. And it's more so accepted as now because it's at this level. Back then it was more of the vandalistic level, the way the public eye saw it. And generally, most of the politicians always used graffiti as a crutch to fall back on, to say that they were going to stand up and clean up New York and do this and do that. And they didn't want to realize that there was a culture, that there was a need, that there was a drive, that there was some type of motivation to create, that this was something that we were cultivating here. You know, it's only up until when they can make money off of it that it becomes acceptable. But in the meantime, in the between time, we had been doing this long before they decided to make money off of it.
That's real. Is there a difference between just tagging on the walls and piecing and putting up murals?
Well, basically, bringing things to this level is a little bit more acceptable by society. Everyone has their own motivation and reasons of why they look for recognition, why they look for fame, why they write graffiti. It's all part of one culture. It's hip-hop, along with MCing, along with break dancing, along with rap and everything else that comes along with scratching. When I grew up, we used to go to parties in Bronx River Avenue. Band Bada used to throw parties. DJ Mario would be turning out Rosedale Park. Grandmaster Flash should be throwing parties. It was a big thing to have a flash tape back then, with all of the cuts and all of that, long before it got, you know, generalized into society. And, you know, like, and another thing, rap back then had lyrics. It had substance. They had things that made sense. They had things you would identify with. They were things that pertain to our upbringing in our society. Now it's pretty much a loop. It sells, and it is what it is. I don't want to knock the rap artists from nowadays, but Graf back then also had its own cultivation. And basically it was about fame, it was about getting recognition, it was about getting more. Some people did it for whatever reason that they did it, but it was all part of it. Bombing was a thing of wanting your name even more wherever you went. Then we had our people that would do whole cars like rock stars, and we had, you know, people like Cars 207, and we had, you know, TMT fellas, TNT fellas, and, you know, Scene and a bunch of other fellas, you know, Scene TC5, and what you call it. You know, we had people that were worrying about creating and pushing themselves to take it to the next level. And so, you know, that's the difference. This is something where you take it to, when you push yourself to take it on an artistic level, and then you have the bombing level, but it's all part of one culture.
What comes to your mind when you hear Common and Blade?
Well, back then you knew when Common and Blade came to the line that they were coming to take over. Common never really worried too much about doing artistic aspects as opposed to Blade. Blade did more of the artistic aspect of it, but they both would come and bomb hard on the line. I mean, when they came over, they knew they were taking over the line. Something like LK used to do to the insides of the 6 line.
Yeah, check this out. You know what? We're going to be right back in a few minutes. We're going to talk to some of the people and get some interesting stuff. We'll be right back.
K-State Drama King, you watching the Cool Clyde show, my nigga Clyde. We go way back, Lightning Lance. You understand what I'm saying? You already know what it is. First niggas putting the scratch thing down, man. Get your history right.
That's one.
This is KRS-One, chilling with Cool Clyde right here. We trying to get this hip-hop museum started. And let me tell you what the real is about that. If we don't preserve ourselves, who else will? Who else's responsibility is it to preserve hip-hop? If you are hip-hop, it's your responsibility. The Hip-Hop Museum, y'all, in the Bronx. KRS, Cool Clyde.
This is Lil Mama, aka the voice of the young people. Right now we're chilling in Harlem with my man DJ Cool Clyde, first DJ with Scratch on Wax. That's what he told me. I'ma hold him to it.
Worldwide,
We're doing this thing. He out here, got a big movement. We're trying to get the museum together. So any celebrities out there, put together a wardrobe, something that's classical from yourself. If you're in hip hop and people love you for hip hop, Nas, Jay, myself, Missy, everybody that came before me, and many more to come. Bring something down, get up with this dude, and get him 3 pieces so you can have that museum looking right.
Everybody just, you know, let everybody know who y'all are in the camera.
Yeah, I be Little Corrado, LK, TLP, old school.
Hollow Rock, H Spot, 78, Rockstar. Her Effects, 6 line. Her Effects from the 6 line, Bronx, New York, 78.
CEO Crime True, DJ Lightning Lance, hip hop pioneer, legend, you name it, I claim it.
Yeah, DJ Cool Clyde, So One, Save 5, you know, TGA's top graffiti artist, you know, TLP. And yo, we also had LK here. He was Dude 7. You know what I'm saying? And Too Small. Yo, a lot of names. We trying to get away from all of that. It's good to be able to document the essence of this graffiti. You know, because this is something that I have never done before and I've always wanted to do it. People like K Slade, who's on Hot 97 now, used to roll with us back in the days, and this is real talk. Yo, Al, let's talk about this, man. Talk about the stuff that you used to do, man, back in the day.
Just taking it to the L, straight to the layups, straight to the Underground Railroad, where the trains was at. That's where we was at. Coming with a bag full of cans and you making it happen.
When I say something to you about the writer's bench, what comes to your mind?
A station where many writers of various ethnicities and backgrounds came together in order to congregate so as to network.
What street was that on? Y'all remember?
149 Grand Concourse.
Where was it? Just on 149th in the Grand Concourse? What part? Was it in the back, in the middle, in the front?
Back.
Alright.
It was the back on the northbound platform where you could see the 5 trains, the 2 trains, and you could go upstairs and see the 4 trains. So that was which was cool about the writer's bench.
Catch a fix it the right. Also, it's stomp the fuck out.
Yeah.
You had your brawls. You had your brawls that were writers' bench.
Confrontations.
Oh yeah, don't get it twisted.
That was like Madison Square Garden, because people from all over would come to the writer's bench on 149th Street. Rappers from Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, the Bronx, all meet at 149th Street, man.
It should be noted that the writer's bench, as well as even going to the yard or the layups, where you may try to go and claim fame by way of tagging or piecing, was a place where you had to be extremely careful, because there was many noted rivalries that took place where animosity could result in bodily harm. If you had someone that disliked you and you went over their tag, or some type of animosity harbored amongst you and that other person, it could be a thing where you had to be real careful, watch your back as you proceed in these streets, because it was truly real.
Yo, Harlem Rock, man, let's talk about what comes to your mind when you hear the Black Book.
King of Handstyle.
Oh, I had to come to you with that.
That was right.
H-Rock, oh wow. I go back, man, I started like in 76, and then I really started tagging in 78. And as a little kid, I used to ride the trains, and I remember seeing Wasp, Fuzz One, you know, wow. You have FD56, you know.
Shower 47.
Barnes Shower 47, God bless the dead, really, yes. You know, which he's still been best, you know. And 6 Line, wow, you had Con One, you know, Junior.
Old school rock star.
Yeah, then you had Little Keith, you know, Too Small.
Cars Rock.
And then, you know, I had to come in with the Fluskies, you know what I'm saying? H-Rock, Hollow Rock, you know. Save One also was rocking. Save 5. So One, no? Yeah. And wow.
We had other cats like Con,
A's,
Slim, Jack 115,
Jack 115.
Come on, that's
yeah.
Slim, TLP.
Yeah. And let's talk about it. Who had the 6 Line first, man? Come on.
TLP.
6 Line. The 6 Line evoluted for many years. Many years the 6 Train was in the headlock. The TLP crew just rampaging the insides, just terrorizing the insides with cans of ink, and that was another element.
Little Keith was the first one to bring out the
fat pilots, the pilots, the unis.
Pilots. See, that was another element of graffiti that a lot of people don't know. The inside car bombing, just
markets,
just taking over the insides with mad, heavy duty tags.
Crazy. And you know what was the rush though?
Underarm deodorant.
We be bombing on one side. We be bombing on one side, on the right hand side. And when the uptown trains to come, we start to roll over on the left hand side. Remember that?
I'll tell you one thing. I many plenty of times I went to the layups, and I'm painting the train on the outside, and for some reason things don't go right, or a cop just pop out of nowhere, and you gotta head down the tracks.
And anybody could jump in at any given time. When I talk about Hickey and Skeet, what comes to your mind?
Oh, man. DTs that's out to get you.
They was like hip hop graffiti police.
Those
you know what I'm saying?
To the graffiti.
Yeah.
Or the graffiti cops.
You know, and here's another thing. Let's talk about when a conductor will be walking through the cars at night, and you wanted to get a set of keys. What went on?
Damn, spot
we ain't gonna go there.
Yeah, I guess it'll speak for itself.
Gotta get that skeleton key.
Yeah. But some used to go to the hardware store and get the little blank one and have them file it out from the original one.
That's because they used to close the doors in between cars, and in order to get from car to car, you needed to have that key.
I mean, it got to a point that I got so dedicated, man, that I used to just grab my little rock star bag. I used to get up like 4:30 in the morning, yo, and I used to just be bombing by myself. You hear me? And then I found myself, the train moving on me, dog. And I'm inside the train, yo. You know, that's when I started learning how to climb down the motherfucking pole.
Right.
Behind your little ass.
See, this is a lot of history. I remember when KC3 and KC5 used to come up on the line. You know what I mean? Monty and all of them, man.
How to run them tracks.
So let's talk about names. Like, you had Crime 2, who had his click NTA, No Toys Allowed, and then you had another crime from TCP or TC5?
TMT crime.
TMT crime. How was it during that time where both of y'all had the same names. If somebody said, yo, I saw Crime's tag, and that might have been tag, it might have been his tag, or that might not have been his tag. How did you feel about that?
Well, it was all good, you know, long as I wasn't somebody coming to accuse me of writing over their stuff, and it was the other Crime for writing over stuff, it was all good. I never was approached by Crime and you know, about me using Crime too back in the day, so I guess it was all love. But there was their beefs. Like hip-hop artists now got beefs in music. Back then, graffiti writers had beef also.
There was so many people like Ray, Sin. They had cliques like, can y'all just name some cliques? TTB, TMB, the Master Blasters.
3YB, TNB,
3YB,
OTB,
TC5,
TC5,
TFA,
TNT, TCT,
TKA,
the
TC5.
Vamp Squad.
Who would you say was the king of the throw-ups on the 6th line?
On the 6th line,
Throw-ups.
throw so
What's
so
it?
one.
LK,
LK.
CEO. Hey, I remember L used to be bugging on Lance. He used to be like, Lance is throwing up them bubbles. Remember he used to be laughing? He used to throw up them CEO, the bubble joints.
Rocking, though.
That was back in the day, but that's history right there. You know? But yo, these are some great moments, man, that we talking about, man. Do y'all remember the fat caps? We used to get them from the pan, the Mazzola.
The Niagara.
The Niagara.
Off the Niagara starch, we used to get the
and
whistlers.
and the Mazzola. The pop used to go on Pathmark and ShopRite. Before Pathmark was Pathmark, it used to be called
Which ones are hot
ShopRite.
right now?
Oh man, we got so many caps that come in from Germany and from Europe.
What about the Uniwire?
We used to use, back in the day, we used to make our own from the felt, from the marker. The marker was a roll-on, antiperspirant, and we used to take the eraser felts off of the chalkboard eraser and use that as a felt, pin that, and make the only mops, and use the purple ink from the supermarket to make the only drips come down the panels. And this is the man that was the king of the
So when I talk about Flowmaster, what comes to your mind?
Pearl pink. Everything was racking back then because we didn't have no money to buy paint, buy ink, and buy any of that stuff. Basically, everything we had to do, we had to rack for. There wasn't an article of clothes of mine that didn't have ink or paint on it. Put it like that. Everything back in them days had ink stains, paint stains, and you know, like you spend enough money at Jew-Man's buying the right gear, and Hollow knows about having the right gear, and constantly all of it would get messed up because of ink stains.
Hey, yo, say G, yo. Y'all used to get mad at me, right? When I used to come out from bombing the layups and shit, when we stayed in Sariga, you know, when we used to start from St. Lawrence all the way down, past Park Chester,
all the way to Buell.
Hey, yo, we used to go. I used to be off fucking with the plans, Puma, bombing everything, and y'all used to get mad because I used to come out still clean. Y'all be all inked up. And I used to go straight to the party and shit.
Yo, let me tell you.
Since junior high school 123, nobody dressed flyer than Hollow Rock.
I remember when K Slay used to come through there with us. I remember when it was too cold, when the layups wasn't here on St. Lawrence or Zariga, they would be in the tunnel.
Right.
Do y'all remember in the tunnels?
Right on.
When it was gonna snow,
Right in between Hunts Point and me and Longwood.
116th,
Longwood,
They still do that.
110th, 116th
Still
Street,
do that.
Cypress.
Longwood Avenue layup.
Yo, this is a lot of
days,
history.
man.
Listen, man, we'll be right back with the DJ Cool Clyde show. You dig?
DJ Cool Clyde, first DJ to scratch on a record.
Coming to another aspect of graffiti. And we're going to talk about this war right here and what it means and the difference between, you know, another level of graffiti. I mean, we talk in terms of, most people think of graffiti as vandalism or it's bombing and just writing and spray painting your name so everybody can know who your name is. But we're using graffiti in a different sense to show the creativity and to show that graffiti can be used in a positive light. Pearl, let's expound a little bit more about this war.
Okay, this was done this year, 2008. This is done by the FX crew, and it was done, this is the 16th FX crew anniversary walk. Okay, here we have Pose 2, one of the original members of FX. King B, another one of the original members. Tech happens to be one of the guys we just recently put on. This is a wall showing Saddam Hussein, showing skulls, showing dollar signs on the skulls, showing rivers of oil, and Ronald Reagan, and also showing pretty much what's going on as far as the current events and the economy of what we're going through in our country. And as you can see, we're showing some of the politicians like Giuliani who have used graffiti as a crutch to fall on, as well as some of the guys that are higher in office like Rice, Cheney, Rumsfeld, Colin Powell, and George Bush.
I like how you use how Giuliani used graffiti as a crutch. And also, President Bush used hip-hop to talk about the war in Iraq. So this is telling you how big graffiti and hip-hop is. Go ahead.
Okay, well, this wall is basically sending out a political message of who's in office and what this really comes down to. I mean, in Africa, we have apartheid, and we're supposed to be humanitarians, and we're not stepping up to the plate to worry about how many thousands of people are dying behind famine in Africa. But yet and still, because of the oil, because of the money that's involved, you know, now we have what's going on basically all in a tail on this wall. You know, we got bars of gold, we got grenades sitting on top of dollar signs and dollar bills, we got the Uncle Sam holding on to dollars, we got the nuclear explosion, we got the heads, which are the souls of innocent lives that are dying in the war of Iraq, which is based, you know, we ain't illiterate. We know it's about the oil. Because we ain't, you know, we got rivers of oil, we got tanks, we got nuclear explosions, and we got the people in office. The dollar signs are symbols on the skull's foreheads, stating this person lost their life for the sake of this government's greed for money.
The graffiti, the breakdancing, the style of clothing, the MCing, the rapping, this is all connected. This is our culture. I don't think there's no time in my life, in our history right now, that there's going to be anything bigger than hip-hop. Hip-hop moves this planet. Everybody's into hip-hop. This is so important, man. Ladies and gentlemen, check this out. We're going to be back and we're going to talk about with Per, a legend in this game. And we're going to talk about the business aspect of doing graffiti.
Cheer! What it is, I'm el talentito músico, Sean Cartagena, in the CMG guy in my music room. I'm a DJ Clyde, the first nigga scratching the beat. Know it! Cheer! Worldwide. Cheer!
Now all the ladies in the house,
the ladies
in the house, come on and let me hear you say, can you feel it? Can you feel it?
That's right.
Jazzy Sensation.
Y'all officially watching the Cool Clyde show with the Jazzy 5 MCs.
Can you feel it?
Pioneers in the game.
Can you feel it?
DJ
Jazzy
Cool
Sensation.
Clyde and the Cool Clyde show. Always tune in.
Graffiti. Let me explain something. Ask you a question, I should say. How do you get funding to do this? And how do you know, do you get paid for doing this? Is it a business for you? I mean, tell the viewers, I mean, how do you go about this? Because people obviously want to know. They might think that you're just, you know, coming out here with a few cans of spray paint and...
Well, basically, we brought it to the next level, as you can see. And this happens to be one of our professional ad walls where we had a collaboration of different images, and sort of like the way you started, that you were just DJing in the hood and now you got your own talk show. That's how we started. We started by painting local walls in the hood, and now since our work is on a professional level and on a level that's accepted by society, we supplement our incomes by doing commission jobs in every aspect. Body shops, rest in peace memorials, you know, backdrops, stuff for hip hop culture, you know, t-shirts, apparel, all of these designs, logos, and things of that nature. This is like one of the ad walls. We do kids' rooms, we do daycare centers.
Have you ever did
like
work with the TATS crew, or you ever seen their work?
Yeah, I think TATS crew is definitely one of the leading crews in the New York City area that have definitely taken the business aspect of graffiti or aerosol art, aerosol advertisement to the next level. I mean, they basically set a precedent on the pricing. Their artistic ability is definitely on the next level. They got a lot of good guys with them, Bio, Nicer, BG, Hal, Nazi. And those guys basically set a precedent for me. You know, I was one of the cats that started with them, but they set a precedent because they've taken it to the next corporate level with this art form being accepted in society.
Yeah, I got the opportunity to do something with them on News 12. You know, this is great though, man. But I look at this work that you've been doing, man. You've been doing a lot of great things in the community. It's so important that you continue to do so you can send this message off to our youth, our young people, pass the torch, so to speak.
Basically,
you know,
it's not everybody that has, I guess you would call it, the leadership qualities to be able to come and coordinate this and put it together and still have the drive and the motivation and the love and the passion for the culture to come out here and devote this time, devote this effort, and devote this work, because I never met a successful, lazy person. This all takes work.
Yeah, this is so important that people need to understand that. I mean, what you see on the wall, it takes a lot of dedication. It's a lot of passion that's involved with this. And if you want to make things happen, things don't just happen. Somebody goes out and take out the time to speak to an individual and ask permission, could they do this art on the wall? You understand? This didn't just get here. So I look at this as understanding the nature of graffiti, understanding the nature of business, understanding the nature of communication. When you start to communicate, it's so important that you understand why it's important to be business minded, you know, and keep this thing going. Well, listen, we're getting ready to run out. The show is like, I'm just so overwhelmed with this information, man, and it's so important. Per, any last minute things you want to say to thousands of people that's watching this, man?
Basically, I want y'all to know that this is something that I live for. This is something that I've helped cultivate. I'm not the founding father, but I definitely paid my dues. Young Crown King, number 6 line, FX crew, per 1, still around, staying around. And you know what? When I gave up, God never gave up on me. So that's why I'm still here.
I like that. And one thing I want to leave off with is that wall over there is one of the walls that we need to get done. And I want all you viewers to reach out to your various elected officials and let them know that's the Rosedale Park wall, to get a mural of the founding fathers of hip-hop, and particularly Disco King Mario, so we can have the heads of all the founding fathers of hip-hop. Now, some people may say, well, the people play handball on the handball courts and they may not be able to see. We can have the murals up high where it won't conflict with them playing ball on the wall. So there's ways that we can work this out. We can spot it in so many ways. So this is something that we need. And remember, it's art.